Moment, our witness identified Leon Britton by a tattoo that he has on his groin. Our witness drew the tattoo for the police, etc., etc. But like I say, I can't say too much.
From what the information Settle came to me for, there's one surefire way of identifying Leon Britton above anything else. Do you want to tell James what that is?
His birthmark.
Glitch!
His birthmark. And where was his birthmark?
On his, I don't want to stand up because I've got a shot.
No, just
sort of on the thigh, just
on the thigh.
I'll have a look at a couple of your comments, but I'm going to disable it, so, you know what I mean? There's not really a lot of point. In fact, like I say, thank you to everyone that's been supporting. But all these other people out there, right, this is why we do need laws on the internet. And I hate having to say that, because it's just going to allow them to, like this Article 13 thing that's coming in.
Even mind them playing the odd game, you know, I understand other sort of online apps and things, and I don't even mind them playing the odd game, you know, I understand that, of course, there's lots of good things, but I'm really worried, especially with what I've seen now as Home Secretary, about the danger that lurks online, and like anyone, I want to protect my children, but also, as Home Secretary, I want to help protect everyone's children, and that's what this action is about today.
So given that, what's the timescale on this regulator coming into force?
Well, so today is what's called a white paper, which is a consultation. That will be for the next 12 weeks, as we do with any consultations. But I think that because there's a good, what I take, cross-party agreement in Parliament, which helps, especially when you've got a hung Parliament, to get legislation through, I think it comes sooner rather than later. Now, I don't want to say exactly when.
Have you got a deadline, like this year, end of this year?
I would like to see certainly progress this year. We've already said, for example, the sort of codes of conduct we would expect the future regulator to have. We want those published this year, at least in draft form. But I think it's actually can have an impact a lot sooner than that.
We need laws that protect from online bullying. That doesn't mean shutting down freedom of speech. All right, we don't want freedom, we don't want to lose that.
But I wonder if you can give me some kind of thresholds on certain things. So when, for example, would a fine be necessary? When would it be actually you're going to hold an executive criminally responsible, and when do you remove a website altogether?
Well, I mean, first thing I think to point out is that with this new statutory duty of care we're proposing, the enforcer of that will be an independent regulator. It's very important it's an independent regulator, because politics should have nothing to do with this. So the regulator.
When do you think? I just want a sort of like a rough idea of what you think would constitute a fine.
Well, I think if you get, first of all, it has to be related to the seriousness of the offence. And I think also you'd have to take into account how companies react when that is pointed out to them. But absolutely, if you have companies that don't seem to be taking issues seriously, they're not reacting in what anyone would consider reasonable time, you would expect the regulator to start thinking about fines. Those fines, to be meaningful, must be related to the size of the company. The bigger your turnover, the more I would expect that fine to be. And I think you would, as a regulator, sort of work down that scale. And ultimately, if you have a company or website just refuses to comply, or you can't track it down, and then there are some companies that will actually just make it hard for you to track their management and things, ultimate sanction the regulator will have is to block that website in the UK.
What I would say, look, is why don't we allow accounts online on social media where you have to put your profile picture, right, and your genuine profile. We're allowing people to create anonymous accounts, right, and they create multiple accounts. You know, one person will create multiple accounts. I've had this directed at me. Yeah, not uploading to Twitter again, I know, getting all the messages through. Oh, mate, guidance. So, if we are going to create some laws...
...and that content as quickly as they...
Fines.
You mentioned Christchurch. YouTube and other channels tried their best to take down that content as quickly as they could. Did you, I mean, obviously it was horrific material, but do you think there were some channels that were criminally irresponsible in the way that that was dealt with, or would it, under this regulatory new system, would face fines for what happened there?
No, first of all, with Christchurch, I think that certainly I think there were some channels that did take it seriously enough and didn't put enough effort into taking down some of that abhorrent material, especially the video of their video, and they could have done more. But also what really troubled me is afterwards when I spoke to the companies, and I spoke to some of them in Paris last week at the G7, is that they told me that they hadn't really sort of prepared for a live streaming event of a terrorist incident. And I found that quite shocking. Just about 6 months ago, I was talking about the live streaming of child sexual abuse, which sadly has grown and grown. And how could these companies not thought about the live streaming of a terrorist event? And they claimed last week that's what caught them off guard. And I just find that really hard to accept, that if you were taking this responsibility seriously, why not already, as an industry, there's already a body that we've helped to set up, which is the Global Internet Forum on Terrorist Content. And I've been to some of their meetings, and their job is to think about things and think ahead. And the fact they had never thought of this just tells me that there's much more work to do.
I would say the only thing that needs to happen is anyone that's going to go on social media, you have to use your genuine profile. Otherwise, you don't get to go on now. It's that simple. And then that way, if there is any hate speech or there are any threats, the person can be directly held responsible for it. That is the only way round the whole thing that I can see. That's the only answer that I can see. Otherwise, you're getting into limiting freedom of speech, and I don't. And then that way, if there is any hate speech, is anyone that's going to go on social media, you have to use your genuine profile.
Greetings. This is an urgent message to the UK public. It has recently come to our attention that a well-known pop singer from your country known as Brian Harvey is holding vital evidence regarding phone tapping, interception of communications, harassment, and wrongful imprisonment against News International plc, now known as News UK, and has been subject to a malicious and vitriolic attack by his own government in order to discredit the real evidence against Rupert Murdoch's media empire. Brian Harvey has warned authorities over a 5-year period and claims his life is in real danger and fears he could be killed soon. We find these allegations very disturbing, as it is another example of the UK police force covering up on behalf of rich elites. Brian Harvey had tried to see the ex-Prime Minister David Cameron.
Greetings. The
Accounts online on social media where you have to put your profile picture, right, and your genuine profile. We're allowing people to create anonymous accounts, right, and they create multiple accounts. You know, one person will create multiple accounts. I've had this directed at me. But, you know, if I thought either of them were dodgy, or if I thought what I was saying was dodgy, then I wouldn't be putting myself in this position, mate. You know, and I ask you, just be reasonable. You know what I mean? Just be reasonable, because I ain't going to get into a shouting match with you and start fucking getting online and slagging you off. You're perfectly entitled to make videos and put together what you want to put together. You know what I mean?
So, just bear that in mind, guys, before you start hating. I'm not going to respond to people in the way that the haters would want me to. So, that's right. But I'm seeing it. It's a question of
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was dragged from the Ecuadorian embassy by police this morning under arrest after being told his asylum status had been removed. 7 police officers had to lift him into the van as he was taken away.
He's looking at spending an awful long time in prison now, isn't he?
Well, we don't know. I mean, it depends if the extradition is successful. If it is, then it could be a life imprisonment, yes.
Okay.
And you should add...
No, go on.
Yeah, well, one should add that he's actually not had any liberty for about 10 years now. So, he has certainly suffered. And, the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention did determine that he was arbitrarily detained. So he has had 10 years so far of a compromised freedom.
Well, that was arbitrarily dismissed, of course, by the British government. They didn't appreciate that at all.
Well, no.
Where does Assange fit into the plan?
Well, Assange, what you seem to have here...
Seems to be a rebel, but I'm not sure.
Well, let's look at where he comes from. You can make a pretty good case that his pedigree is MK Ultra from the very beginning. That is, he's sort of a son of the CIA MK Ultra apparatus, or in this case, the CIA MI6 Australian apparatus. He comes from Melbourne, Australia, and the story is, you can find this, on Wikipedia, that his mother was for a time married to a man, and both of them, but especially the stepfather, were part of a cult in the suburbs of Melbourne, Australia. And this is the cult of a certain Anne Hamilton Byrne. And the method of the cult was that young children were brought into the cult. They were immediately dyed blonde. They were hydrogen peroxide. You look at Assange. Sometimes he's a blonde, sometimes he's a brunette. What does this mean? This seems to go back to this experience with the Anne Hamilton Byrne cult. But the main thing they did was everybody got their name changed to Hamilton Byrne. This was done with the complicity of local officials because, of course, this was MK Ultra. It was sanctioned by the intelligence agencies. What happened to these poor kids is a story of really monstrous child abuse. They were given LSD, and they were given, I don't have the specific, formulary, but they were given about 8 to 10 different kinds of really heavy-duty psychopharmaca.
And all of them?
Yeah, all of them. I mean, it was things like, you can read it on Wikipedia again if they haven't taken it down. Wikipedia says they were given LSD and they were told to go into a dark room, and then after a while Anne Hamilton Byrne would come to them. So you could imagine they were hallucinating and having nightmares and God knows what. This is what happened. So you look at Assange and you say, this guy, instead of getting cookies and milk, was getting an LSD cocktail from Anne Hamilton Byrne. That's the supposition. And you can look on the internet, you can find pictures that purport to be the blonde young Assange standing with, 6 or 8 or 10 other poor little kids who have been dyed blonde, and this is the Anne Hamilton Byrne cult. So you look at Assange. Certainly, he is someone who is deeply impaired emotionally. At least that's the impression I would have. That he's frozen. He talks in an emotionless monotone. He's
almost like an alien hybrid.
Yeah,
he's like he's genetically very, very altered or something. He's almost like a robot.
Peculiar story. This is in the national press this week. A pensioner was jailed for accusing a school parents of killing and eating babies. Well, apparently you can do that sort of thing, but if you start to name names of people and teachers you think have been involved, a pensioner accused innocent parents of killing babies and eating them as part of a satanic ritual has been jailed for 9 years this week. Sabine McNeill, she's 74 years old, led a campaign to uncover claims of devil worship and child abuse at a primary school in Hampstead, northwest London. London. Well, she ran a website called Victims Unite, and I've had her years ago as a guest on, talking about what appear to be legitimate claims, not of satanic ritual abuse, but of child stealing by the state. So she's been a campaigner for many years, and I spoke to someone who was in court this week to see this case, to get his point of view. His name is Maurice Kirk.
This is a lady who was one of the original designers of internet and cyberspace and emails. At the age of 21, she was working in Switzerland at the CERN laboratories, and she has been a dedicated mathematician and politician and helps in family courts, and she has set up talks with members of Parliament in the House of Commons about issues that are of concern to all of us. And today I witnessed the worst I could imagine. A lady older than me, she was in a pram being pushed out of Dresden while we were dropping 1,000 bombers in February 45. And she was 6 months old, and she was being pushed just ahead of the firestorm that killed everybody, because if you drop enough bombs in a single place, they take up all the oxygen, and the people in the city don't get burnt, they suffocate. And that's where she started. And today she's been made an example of. But the bit that needs to be told is that she's never had a parking fine in her life. She's never broken a law. She has no allegations against her for breaching any minor or major laws. But she got surrounded. Now, you have met Sabine, and I have watched her working, absolutely dedicated at helping people. And this time, she got surrounded by people on their own agenda. I'm sorry to say they were not all women, but they were 75% were nutters. And they persuaded her to believe stories about rituals, child abuse, and more nasty things than that, which we won't mention, but you can guess. They will be in the paper tomorrow. She trusts everybody, and she has been hit very hard today, and I'm very worried because she's not a well person. She's 74. She was, in fact, technically given a 12-year prison term, and the judge said it, owing to her age, it was 9. It was for technically stalking, because she was pursuing particular people who she'd been told were involved with these rituals, child rituals, and breaching restraining orders. She was seriously influenced by these well-educated women who have now run away, of course. I mean, this is life, isn't it? I mean, I've helped people on drugs. When I was in prison, I was doing people's court cases, and you could see that young kids were being dragged into a syndicate where they took the blame, but the ringleaders got away with it. And this is what's happened with Sabine. I'm very concerned, but she believed and trusted the people who put her up to it, and they won't get touched.
So that's Maurice Kirk there, and I'll put the full version of that on our show page at thisweek.org.uk. Bit of a weird one, but 9 years in prison for a 74-year-old for what she thought was pursuing what the police weren't doing. I mean, basically her allegation was that the police hadn't done a proper investigation into this case, and that there was some kind of child abuse, and it's pretty clear that there wasn't. That's a long time to spend in jail for a 74-year-old, Mike.
It is, yeah, but if somebody had told you 10, 15 years ago that they'd be discover up to 200 babies' bones in an Irish Catholic orphanage from the Sisters of Mad, you wouldn't have believed that sort of thing, but that things have been uncovered, isn't it? So it's not beyond the realms of possibility, is it? I mean, who would have thought the scandals coming out of Ireland would
And of course, the Jimmy Savile.
An inquiry into child sexual abuse has begun hearings to examine historical allegations of abuse in a children's home and residential school in Rochdale. The inquiry will investigate an alleged failure to prosecute the late MP Cyril Smith. In his opening statement, Brian Altman QC, counsel to the inquiry, said that the hearings were in response to the public concern that some politicians, including Cyril Smith, were involved in child sexual abuse and able to abuse with impunity because they were protected by the establishment.
And able to abuse with impunity because they were protected by the establishment. It's only really because of Cyril Smith that the wider issue of child sexual abuse in Rochdale from the 1960s to the 1990s garnered attention. What the investigation was struck by, however, was the broader picture that emerged by shining a light on Cyril Smith. In other words, it illuminated the day-to-day experiences of children that would have gone unexamined. The decision to embark upon this investigation was in part in response to the public concern that some politicians, including Cyril Smith, were involved in child sexual abuse and able to abuse with impunity because they were protected by the establishment. Rent boys of various ages congregated and solicited in the area to attract the custom of clients. Yes. The client base included men from the higher echelons of society who were believed to operate in some form of network. That's correct. Now, pausing there, what did you mean by the higher echelons of society?
I've got a great deal of nervousness as to what the correct terminology should be here. I mean, to be frank and with respect, the whole thing is based here upon an inquiry into a cover-up by Westminster, suggesting that if a cover-up took place, and I suggest it did, then it was all based around the Palace of Westminster. And my experience is it was wider than that, but it depends what label you give it. I used to give it the label of either higher echelon or establishment, because there were other figures, significant figures involved, both by form of conviction and intelligence, that, as far as I was aware, had no political careers whatsoever. They weren't involved in the Palace of Westminster as such. So if we're talking higher echelons of society, I don't know if it makes it any more accurate. I'm talking about establishment figures. It's aristocratic families, senior, long-established families. It wasn't all just politicos.
So it's not limited to those associated with Westminster, but it was wider than that as well.
Absolutely, as was proved by Playland 2.
Twitter gives Alex Jones the boot. The social networking site permanently banning he and his media company, InfoWars. Fox News Headlines 24/7 report.
For not defending the First Amendment, but instead attack dogging, calling for federal regulators to shut down independent free press, working with big tech.
But Daniel Estulin is going to be joining us, and he always has really powerful intel. In fact, I should have queued it up. It's in Endgame. Maybe you guys can find Endgame on YouTube. It's got like 4 million views on the one. And skip ahead about an hour into it or so, where you see Estulin in a bar talking. And that's where you'll find him saying they're going to implode the housing market in 2 years and blah, blah.
We don't need Obamacare. We need to start healing people.
Alex Jones here to share some very exciting information with you. Going back.
Guys, I'm so much leaner now.
We don't need Obamacare. We need to start healing. We need to start healing people.
Alex Jones here to share some very exciting information.
For not defending the First Amendment, but instead attack dogging, calling for federal regulators to shut down independent free press, working with big tech. These big monopolies need to be broken up, and these are digital commons, they've said in their own words, and under federal law, and they shouldn't be in there controlling what individuals are saying in those private discussions and in those discussions online if it's not criminal what's being said and what's being done.
Far more serious than mere ecological disaster. According to his book, The Truth Vibrations, the one...
Okay, you're the Son of God, you're Jesus, I guess that's fine. David Icke had been a sports presenter of the BBC for years. At a time when everyone who had worked at the BBC was testifying that everybody that was there at the BBC at that time knew that Jimmy Savile was a fucking freak, that he was a child molester, a child abuser, and was having sex with young girls. David Icke then says, when Jimmy Savile dies, he said, I've been telling people this for years. I've been telling people this for years. Bullshit. Bullshit. Hold on.
I know I was surprised to come in and find out this stuff today. Send me a message. Said, you cannot believe this stuff happening. I think tomorrow we will see some coverage on this issue. We'll see. Tomorrow when the news cycle begins, I think there will be some of the alt websites that are going to be catching on to this.
You're not going to tell me that C.W. Chanter doesn't know a fuckload a lot about David Icke and David Icke's research and what he's been saying. Even before there was Children of the Matrix, there was the David Icke to the Global Conspiracy. Handy little index. Sabbath, Saddam Hussein, Sagan, St. Paul's Cathedral. Saturday, Saturn, F. Topper Saucy, John Scarlett. What am I looking for, folks? Savile. What's not here?
No Jimmy Savile?
No Jimmy Savile. What you know? But he's been telling this shit for years, David Icke. Okay, well, this came out right around Tales of the Time Loop. Came out right around the time of the September 11th bombings. That's what this one was all about. In early 2003. Okay, well, let's give him another shot. Savile. Michael Savage. No. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
No Jimmy Savile?
Joseph Smith, Stuart Dynasty. No Jimmy Savile.
Well, maybe this whole thing will teach people to just vet who you're interviewing.
Human race, get off your knees.
I mean, a driver's license should be enough.
Yeah, right. How about that? Let's see. Let's give him one more shot here. This is a later one. This is human race, get off your knees. Maybe. Nope. No. No, folks, sorry. But you know what? Hold on one second.
As you can see, CW is very committed to this, and he's very passionate about this issue. He's going to explain it.
The world as we know it is about to end. David Icke. So you're all in the turquoise, which of course is the colour.
Hold on a sec.
Yeah, that's a good start. Fill your mouth full of sweets.
Yeah, well, see, the world is not necessarily going to end, but the Earth is going to go through a series of geological changes that are necessary to make sure it doesn't end. That's the point.
Yeah. Did I see you say that turquoise is the colour? What's turquoise going to do?
Well, there is an energy that comes from a being called the Godhead, which is, I mean, we talk about God. The Godhead is not a guy with a beard sitting on a cloud. It is a massive spirit, the basis of all creation. And coming out from this Godhead, round all creation, through all the stars, through all the planets and everything else, is the life force known as the light. I mean, the Bible refers to the light. The traditional church that has been with us over all these thousands of years.
Well, now, let me get the story right. The press claim that you claim to be the Son of God.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Yes, you see, the thing is that it's quite funny, really. You know, 2,000 years ago, had a guy called Jesus sat here and said these same things, you would still be laughing. It's really, really funny that we've not really moved on that much. There have been many missions, if you like, over the last 12,000 years to try to free the earth from control by a force that is working against the Godhead. The Godhead is the basis of all love and wisdom and all the rest of it in the whole of creation. But there is another being, the Bible refers to it as Satan, the real name is Lucifer, who is trying to take over creation. And because of the very important part this particular planet plays in the whole, actually destroying this planet would be a major step forward in that direction. Therefore, for the last 12,000 years, the influence on this planet has been from this being and from the energy which he sends out. And it's an energy that stimulates people to think in a certain way. So we hate, we are aggressive, we have no forgiveness, we have no tolerance. And I ask the audience this, when you survey the world today, you know, when a child dies in this world of preventable disease every 2 seconds, when the economic system of the world must destroy the earth simply for that system to survive, when you see all the wars and when you see all the pain and when you see all the suffering, is it a force of love and wisdom and tolerance that is in control of this planet? Or is it a force that wishes to bring about the very hate, the very aggression, the very suffering? First of all, if anyone believes, after 12,000 years of this truth being lost and forgotten, that coming out with it initially is going to get any kind of reaction other than that one or condemnation, then I would be a crackpot if I thought that was the case. The other thing is, there is this great illusion, you know, that Jesus was born and stood up and said, I know who I am. It was revealed to him in stages. He was very, very close to beginning the mission which is described in the Bible, but not described brilliantly accurately, before he knew who he was. And when he came out, Terry, and said, I am the Son of God, I am an aspect of the soul of the Godhead incarnate because of things that need to be done on this planet urgently, people laughed, people ridiculed. And in the end, you know, they crucified him because the intolerance on the planet at that time was so great that if someone else in the traditional church says we have one life and we are judged on that one life on earth by a judgmental God on whether we go to heaven or hell forever, we are judged, some of us, on 90 years and some on a life that lasts a few minutes before babies die after being born. Some are judged on having perfect physical bodies and being millionaires. Others are judged on one lifetime racked with disabled bodies. If I said that, people say, okay, fair enough. We either believe that or we don't. But people don't actually laugh. But when you come out with an alternative view, suddenly it's very funny. I find the version of life that I've just described extremely funny in comparison, but they have people who believe that and expound that view, have every right in the world to have that view and expound it. I'm tolerant of them. I ask people to be tolerant of another view.
Well, now, this is not entirely unreasonable, but there are a couple of questions. First of all, why you? Why should we believe you? If we have trained, highly intelligent, erudite scientists who tell us that none of these things are going to happen, why should we believe you?
Well, first of all, two things to that. First of all, the same kind of erudite scientists, but highly intelligent, once said the Earth was flat, and the people that said the Earth was round were laughed at. And the same thing's happening now, you know. The second thing is, I am asking no one in this theatre no one watching this program, no one on this planet to believe a word of it.
Well, why are you saying it then?
Because the fundamental law of creation is that of free will. To be given opportunities to make decisions and choices based on information.
If you could give us some kind of proof, anybody can get up and say these things are going to happen because they've been divinely inspired. And lots of people have done it in the past. You know, in the year 1000, we had all these people coming up saying that the world is going to end, and lots of people ran at the top of the mountains, as they have been doing.
I'm not saying the world's going to end, I'm saying it could.
But they're saying also, yes, well, these people probably said the same thing. Nothing happened. And they said, it's because of the power of my prayers that saved. Is this what you're going to do?
No, I mean, some of these things are not, they are the consequence of 12,000 years of human free will choice and behavior. Therefore, many of them are unstoppable. And I'm not going to stand up and say, well, they're not happening because of what I've done. Some of them are going to happen. And I'm not asking anyone to believe it. But you see, if the traditional church...
But there's no point in you saying
But of course not. You see, why should I impose...
Did you just agree with me?
Why should I impose my will? Why should I try to impose what I'm saying on anyone? They have the right to listen to what I'm saying,
but if you
to listen to what the traditional church is saying.
If you don't give them any kind of proof, if you don't give them any reason to believe in you, they will dismiss you as a crank, which is what they're doing.
Well, that's their free will choice. But Terry, if I am saying that these things are going to happen this year, then we'll see, won't we?
And what will happen if they don't happen? What will happen to you?
They will happen because if they don't happen, there will be no earth. And it's as simple as that. And I frankly don't care what anyone thinks. They have free will to make their own choices on what is said. I say wait and see.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Icke.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Now, moving on.
I've just met David Icke again. I'm going to try and talk to him. Look. David, have you got 5 minutes to speak to a gorilla? Maybe we can make friends. I mean, you know, peaceably, can I talk to you?
I'm with a friend from America, mate.
Okay, but, you know, can I ask you a few questions? As you're walking? Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, good. I mean, we're bumping into each other. I mean, you believe in karma, I believe in Jesus Christ.
You're recording, right?
Well, why not?
Well, yeah, but I'm talking with my friend who's come all the way from America to talk to me.
Okay.
And you turn up with a camera.
Well, no, I was going to buy a Coke, Dave. That's all. I wasn't.
No, but you've got the camera on now. So.
Well, give me a break. Everyone videos you. I'm not trying to invade your privacy, David. I'm just trying to talk to you.
But that's what you're doing.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Can I ask you a few questions? As you're walking? Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, good.
Oh.
This is a public place, David. There's cameras everywhere.
No, you're invading my conversation. No, you're invading my conversation. No, you're invading my conversation.
Well, okay.
This gentleman's come a very long way to talk to you.
Okay, but I mean, you know, come on. We've got a few things we could talk about, haven't we?
I've got lots to talk to this man about.
But there's a lot of people.
Now, have some respect.
But there's a lot of people.
Now, have some respect.
But there's a lot of people.
Now, have some respect.
But I do have respect. Yes, I do. I mean, come on, David. You said that Apollyon the Destroyer is Jesus Christ. I mean, surely you can answer me that question. Come on, David.
Do what you like, mate. But what you're doing is making a statement about yourself.
Okay, yeah, and you.
So, I'm trying to have a conversation with a gentleman that's come thousands of miles. Now, would you please?
But I've come thousands of miles too. You can't expect to walk down the road, David, and not talk to anyone.
You carry on. What? Why?
But I'm a hologram, remember, aren't I? You're a hologram, he's a hologram, we're in a hologram, aren't we? So what's the problem of talking to me holographically?
Because I don't want to talk to you. But that's my choice.
But you're a hologram, and so am I. And the holographic aliens on the moon made me talk to you.
Did they?
The holographic aliens on the moon made me talk to you.
Did they?
The holographic aliens on the moon made me talk to you.
Did they?
And they're projecting us now, we're talking to each other.
Okay, that's good. But I don't want to talk to you.
Why?
Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat. one of the most monumental ones I've ever met.
Do you? So what was you doing in the Groucho Club, David?
I've never been in it.
But you put a picture there. Why are you calling me a twat? Why are you being rude to me?
Because all you want to do is take the piss.
I'm not taking the
That's
piss.
all you want to do. You're invading
I went to ask you. No, this is a public park. I'm not invading anyone's privacy. Can I ask you a few questions as you're walking?
Okay, go on. Okay, go on. Okay, go on.
And there you go, David Icke, again, okay, by provision of God, will not speak to me, even though allegedly we're all a hologram. He's a hologram, and he's calling me a Pratt hologram. So there you go. Never let it be said that I did not approach David Icke politely and try and speak to him, and he's been rude.
Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat.
He's been calling me a prat and stuff, as you can see. So he's made a statement, as he said, when you speak about yourself. Funnily enough, that's what Jesus Christ said. When you speak about yourself.
Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat.
Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos? Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos? Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos? Hey?
Sorry, say that again.
Why don't you go and sell some more CDs, was it?
So you admit slandering me on your website?
No, I didn't slander you. It's a BBC report, mate.
Yeah, who you work for? Because you're a government agent, aren't you? Eh?
Yeah, whatever you say.
Well, I exposed the BBC as a paedophile ring 6 years ago. What did you do then?
You are the brain of Britain. You are the brain of Britain. You are the brain of Britain.
I'm the brain of Britain?
I'm in awe of you.
Are you?
No.
You should be.
No.
You should be.
Yeah.
You shouldn't slander me, should you, David? It's not very nice of you, is it?
Oh, it does.
BBC calling me mentally ill and you posting it on your website and saying that I'm mental. Well, you should give a bit of spare time to the mentally ill then, shouldn't you?
Be silly.
Why? What do you mean be silly?
Don't be silly.
You're calling me names in a park.
Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat.
Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos? Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos? Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos?
You are the brain of Britain. You are the brain of Britain. You are the brain of Britain. Whatever you say.
Yeah, it's a public park.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a hologram. The holographic aliens on the moon made me talk to you.
Did they? Good for you.
Yeah. And I haven't been rude to you, but you've been rude to me.
So
I spoke to you politely. Maybe you've only got 5 minutes to speak to a gorilla. Maybe we can make friends. I mean, you know. Peaceably, can I talk to you? You call me names?
Because I think you're a prat. You are the brain of Britain.
You slander me on your website?
Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos?
No, I didn't slander you. It's a BBC report, mate.
You won't discuss anything with me. You call Jesus Christ Apollyon the Destroyer. There's a statue of him over there, isn't there? Of Apollyon. Does that look like Jesus over there, does it?
Is that right?
Will you tell me? There he is, David Icke, telling people that they're a hologram and that we're ruled by aliens.
You're
who
hilarious, mate.
calls people prats
You are
in
hilarious.
public parks.
You are hilarious. You are hilarious. You are hilarious.
Anyway, Dave, see ya.
See ya.
I'll be putting this on my website, by the way.
I'm pleased for you.
Yeah?
I'm pleased for you.
I'm pleased for you.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, well done to you as well.
All the best.
Well done to you for slandering people on camera.
All the best.
Best to you, Dave.
All the best.
Take care. Yeah, David Icke, here at Hyde Park. Tell me that wasn't a God incident. And how rude was he to me? Was I rude to him? No, I wasn't. Perhaps I should be, but I'll rise above that nonsense.
Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat. Because I think you're a prat.
Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos? Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos? Why don't you go and sell some more fake videos?
You are the brain of Britain. You are the brain of Britain. You are the brain of Britain. Whatever you say.
Yeah, it's a public park.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a hologram. The holographic aliens on the moon made me talk to you.
Did they?
Sam Beckett. Respected for the angle I bring to the game, so my name resonates and reverberates. Play the game till I get the service taste like the murder rates. My intellect gave me a lot of respect, but you haters need a muzzle for the side of your neck. If you about progress, we gotta connect. Tech cash like funds coming out of your check. Yeah, we trying to get that global acclaim. Take over the game, had the whole world knowing the name. God put the beat on, so ran with the heat on. Rap until infinity and beyond, we on. Another level like 7 Gen, we never been scared to force feed, cast that medicine. Plug your headphones up, then let us in. We used to get it in, blowing no connect the pins. The fruits that we take it to the trunk. Branch from jazz to punk rock the funk. The seeds of the leaves that blow through the trees, and thus the completion of the real tree. It started with the roots, then we take it to the trunk. Branch from jazz to punk rock the funk. The seeds of the leaves that blow through the trees, and thus the completion of the real tree. I'm like Cold Seaver, but don't tote heaters. Don't smoke neither, CD, no features. Left the block and beat all the odds. Who the boss? I left John Charles in charge, so we felt the growing pains. Took the slowing lane. Give me a break, I'd overdose Novocaine. Perfect strangers, never did know a name, but now we bosom buddies, cause family matters. Moonlighting as a 30-something rapper. It's a different world, they say you won't be a factor. Cause the rap game's like a full house. Everybody want a dynasty since the greats rolled out. The wonder years is long gone. Need a new heart to compete, or you got a strong arm. We got family ties, life goes on. I stand on the dome, but we still hold on. It started with the roots, then we take it to the trunk. Branch from jazz to punk rock. The seeds of the leaves that blow through the trees, and thus the completion of the real tree. It started with the roots, then we take it to the trunk. Branch from jazz to punk rock. The seeds of the leaves that blow through the trees, and thus the completion of the real tree. In the beginning, it started with the DJ. He looped the brakes so we could hear the beat play. But while it played, the B-boys danced and the poppers pop, left the crowd in a trance. Eventually the party started to grow, so they needed someone to control the flow. A cat picked up the mic, and that's when it happened. He started scatting, and later it was called rapping. Then it got bigger than they ever imagined. It turned into street education and fashion. And now the little shorties sing it all the time. And a whole bunch of them sweaty know how to rhyme, but the mystery is the history. And with it, the weak is the consistency. Cuts back in the days, it was all good fun. Might mention the gun, but nobody had one.